Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to Primary Central Classroom's e-learning by Miss Williamson. Today I have a new friend that is my teacher assistant, and I'm going to introduce you guys to Kid Panda.
Hello everyone, my name is Kid Panda and I'm going to be in second grade with you guys today and we're going to learn this lesson together. Today we're going to be learning how to represent arrays and distinguish rows and columns using math drawings. Isn't that right, Miss Williamson?
That's right, Kid Panda. And could you tell them what page we're going to do for our problem set today?
Yes, ma'am. Today we're going to be doing what page? Oh yes, we're going to be doing page 13 and 14 today. So let's grab our problem set, everyone.
Yes, let's grab our problem set, Kid Panda. So boys and girls, we're going to be doing pages 13 and 14 today.
Also, grab a pencil and piece of paper in case you need some scratch work, and we're going to see you in just a bit.
Thank you, Kid Panda. See you guys in a bit.
All right, boys and girls, I'm going to read the question, and then Miss Williamson is going to take over and work the problem out with you guys, okay? So everybody, let's look at page 13. Number 1 says, one row of an array is drawn below. Complete the array with X's to make 3 rows of 4. Draw horizontal lines to separate the rows. All right, Miss Williamson, you can take it from here.
All right, Kid Panda, thank you for reading the question aloud for us, okay?
No problem, Miss Williamson.
All right, guys. Number 1 says, one row of an array. So I'm going to grab my red pencil. Is drawn below. Complete the array with X's. So we're going to be drawing X's today to make 3 rows of 4. Draw horizontal lines to represent the rows. So we're going to be making 3 rows with 4 in each row. And so let me make sure this doesn't fade. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first row. We already have 1 row. Now we're going to make 2 more rows, so we'll have a total of 3 rows, okay? So let's make the next row. So we're going to draw a line for our next row. So that's 1 line, and then another line for the third row. All right, and then let's draw our X's on it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that next row has 1, 2, 3, 4 X's in it. So we have another row of 4. And then we're going to have 1 more row because now we only have 2 rows. Now let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now I have 1 row of X's, another row of X's, and then a third row of X's. So we have 1, 2, 3 rows of how many X's in each row? That's right, we have 4 X's in each row. Good job. All right, boys and girls, Kid Panda is going to read the next question, letter B, and then we're going to get started and draw our picture, okay? But remember, you're supposed to be using your problem set and drawing on your paper as well, okay? So page 13, letter B.
All right, so letter B says, draw an array with X's that has 3 columns of 4. Draw vertical lines to separate the columns. Fill in the blanks. So in this question, we're going to be doing 3 columns of 4 X's. Okay, guys? So make sure you grab your pencil and do this on your paper as well. You can take it from here, Miss Williamson.
Thank you, Kid Panda.
All right, guys. See you in a bit.
Okay, so for letter B, we're going to draw an array with X's that has 3 columns of 4 X's in each column. Draw vertical lines to separate the columns and fill in the blanks. So if you remember, We said that rows go side to side and columns go up and down. So remember, rows are side to side, left to right, and columns are up and down, top to bottom. Okay, so if we're going to be drawing 3 columns, that means I'm going to have 3 columns that go up and down, top to bottom, that has 4 X's in each. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to grab my red pencil and I'm going to make my first column. So my first column is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have one column that has 4 X's in it, but that's just one column. How many columns did the question ask us to do? That's right, it asked us for 3 columns. So what we're going to do, I'm going to make another one. 1, this is my second column, which has 2 X's, 3 X's, and then 4 X's. So now if you look on the screen, we have 4 X's in each column, but there's only 2 columns. How many columns do we need though? That's right, we need 3 columns and we only have 2. So let me make one more column. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, columns go up and down, top to bottom. So we have 1 column, 2 column, 3 columns. Now we have 3 columns that has how many X's in each column? That's right, there's 4 X's in each column. So now that we have 3 columns with 4 X's, now it's time to do our repeated addition equation. So we have 1, 2, 3 blanks, and these blanks in this repeated addition equation represents the columns. So in our first column, we have how many X's? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put 4 in my first blank. And then in my next blank, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 4. And then in my next column, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 4 in this column. And now if we do that, what is our answer? If we have 4 plus 4 plus 4, that equals how much? Now we could count all the X's, but that'll take a little bit of time. Or we could do 4 plus 4 equals 8 plus 4 equals 12. So then we could put 12 right here. So we know that 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. And so if we had just 3 rows of 4, is that the same thing as 3 columns of 4? We know that 3 columns of 4 is 12 because we have that over to the side. And that would be the same as 3 rows of 4. Remember, the array is the same thing whether you have it in rows or if you have it in columns. So 3 rows of 4 would still be 12. Good job. Give yourself a hand clap. And I'm pretty sure Kid Panda would be so proud of you guys right now. So let me go and see what Kid Panda is doing.
Hi guys, I hope you got this question right, and it looks like you did. We're going to keep working and going on to question number 2, okay?
Thank you, Kid Panda. I'm pretty sure they agree with you. All right, let's get started.
Alright boys and girls, now it's time to go on to number 2, so grab your problem set, page 13, number 2, and your pencil. Number 2 says, draw an array of X's with 5 columns of 3. So remember boys and girls, a column is up and down, top to bottom. Okay, Miss Williamson, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Kid Panda. So boys and girls, let's do number 2, and Kid Panda will be back with us to do letter B, okay? All right, number 2 says, draw an array of X's with 5 columns. So we're going to be doing 5 columns of 3. So that means our columns are going to be up and down, top to bottom, up and down. So our first one, I'm going to make a column. Let me make sure the pencil doesn't fade. It's going to have 5 columns, but only 3 X's in each column. So for my first column, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. So I have one column with 3 X's, but how many columns do we need? That's right. We need 5 columns. So let's go to the next one. So now we have 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 more. So that's 2 columns, 1 column, 2 column. And then we have a third column, 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 columns with 3 X's in each column. But is that right? No, we have, how many columns do we need? That's right, we need 5. So let's draw 2 more columns. So now we have 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 columns. But I know we need 5. So let me do one more. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns with how many X's is in each column? That's right, there's 3 X's in each column. So now we have 5 columns of 3. Good job. Now it's time to go into letter B, and let's see what Kid Panda is doing and see if they can come and read this question for us, okay?
All right, boys and girls, now it's time to do letter B. Letter B says, draw an array of X's with 5 rows of 3. Fill in the blanks below. So we're going to be doing a repeated addition equation that has 5 columns of 3 and then 5 rows of 3 next. Okay? You can take it from here, Miss Williamson.
All right, thank you, Kid Panda.
No problem.
Okay, so letter B says draw an array of X's with 5 rows of 3. Fill in the blanks below. So now instead of doing 5 columns like we did in letter A, where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns that went up and down, now we're going to make 5 rows. That means we're going to go from side to side, left to right. 5 rows with 3 X's in each one. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do my first row. My allergies are acting up. I'm sorry about that. So now we have 1, 2, 3. So in our first row, we're going to have 5, but in our first row, we have 3. And then our next row, we have 1, 2. All right. And then in our next row, we're going to have 3 again. That's right. But now we only have how many rows right now? We only have 1, 2, 3 rows. But how many rows are we supposed to have? That's right. We're supposed to have 5 rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 more rows. 1. So this is my next row. And then I'm going to put 1 more row after that. 1, 2, 3. Now, in letter A, we had 5 columns with 3 X's in it. But on letter B, we had 5 rows with 3 X's in each row. So let's look at our repeated addition equation. Now, if we look at this repeated addition equation, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blanks in this repeated addition equation. So we got to figure out, are those 5 blanks going to represent 5 columns or 5 rows? That's right. It could be either one. We could do 5 columns or we could do 5 rows. Either way, there's going to be 3 X's in each column or 3 X's in each row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 for the first row, 3 for the second row, 3 for the third row, 4 for the fourth row, and then 3 for the fifth row. So there was 3 in the first row, 3 in the second row, 3 in the third row, 3 in the fourth row, and then 3 in the fifth row. So now we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals how much? Now we could count them individually. We could skip count 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, or we could add 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9, 9 plus 3 is 12, and then 12 plus 3 is 15. That's right. So we know the answer to our repeated addition equation is 15. Our next one says 5 columns of 3. Now, when we had the 5 columns of 3, how much did that equal? 15 as well, if you look at letter A. Then we did 5 rows of 3. What did that equal? We just did that one in our repeated addition equation. That's right, it would be 15 as well. Good job. And so that wraps up this question for number 2. We're going to go over, we're going to turn our page to page 14. And then we're going to get started on the back. All right, see you in a bit.
All right, boys and girls, now it's time to move on to number 3. Number 3, in the following problems, separate the rows or columns with horizontal vertical lines. Number 3, draw an array of x's with 4 rows of 3. And then we're going to work on a repeated addition equation. And then you're going to do the sentence statement, 4 rows of 3 equals. Okay, Miss Williamson, you can take it from here.
All right, thank you, Kit Panda.
No problem.
Okay. All right, boys and girls, now we're going to work on number 3. Draw an array of x's with 4 rows of 3. So what I'm going to do is grab my red pencil because we're going to make 4 rows of 3 x's. So I'm going to have one row here, another row here, another row here, and then one more row here. So then I would have 4 rows with how many x's in each row? That's right, 3. So for my first row, I'm going to use my green pencil to make 3 x's. So now we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 x's in the first row. Then we're going to have 3 x's in the second row. Then we're going to have 3 x's in the next row. And then we're going to have 3 x's in the last row. 1, 2, 3. So now I have 4 rows that has 3 x's in each row. So I have one row with 3 x's, another row with 3 x's, the third row with 3 x's, and then my last 4th row with 3 x's. So when I go over here to the side, I'm going to grab my red pencil. I know that they have 1, 2, 3, 4 blanks, and those 4 blanks on my repeated addition equation represents my 3 red rows. So I'm going to put 3 x's for my first row, 3 x's for my second row, 3 x's for my third row, and then 3 x's for my 4th row. So now I have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals how much? If I have 3 x's in each row and we have 4 rows, how many x's is that? Now, I could count that individually. I could skip count. I could do a whole lot, but you decide which one you want to do. You want to add this time? Okay, we can add. So we could do 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. And then 9 plus 3 is 12. Good job, boys and girls. So now we're going to put 12 right here. And so our sentence statement says 4 rows of 3 equals, that's right, it equals 12 because when we have 4 rows that has 3 x's in each row, we found out through our repeated addition equation that that equals 12. Good job. And so now we're going to move on to number 4, and Kid Panda is going to come back and read that for us, okay?
Okay, boys and girls, now it's time to look at number 4. Number 4 says, draw an array of x's with one more row of 3 than the array in problem 3. Write a repeated addition equation to find the total number of x's. Okay, Miss Williamson, now you can take it over from here.
All right, thank you, Kid Panda.
No problem.
Okay, so number 4 says, draw an array of x's with one more row of 3 than the array in problem 3. So we're going to be adding one more row to the same problem that we had in number 3. Then we're going to write a repeated addition equation to find the total amount of x's that we have. So now instead of having just 4 rows, we're going to add one more row. So we have 4 rows plus one more row. How many rows will we have? That's right, we'll have 5 rows. So let's make 5 rows. So we're going to have 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, and then add one more, 5 rows. So now we're going to put 3 in each row, just like in number 3. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to put 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to put 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to put 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to put 1, 2, 3. So now we have 5 rows that has 3 x's in each row. So now I have to do a repeated addition equation. And for the repeated addition equation, I'm going to have 5 spaces or 5 blanks to equal the 5 rows. So let's see, we're going to have 1 blank plus another blank plus another blank plus another blank plus another blank equals a total. So now I'm going to grab my red pencil and we have to add them up. So how many is in the first row? How many x's? There's 3. So I'm going to put 3 here, and then there's 3 in my second row, 3 in my third row, 3 in my fourth row, and then there's 3 x's in my fifth row. And now I have to add all these x's up. I could do it individually, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 x's, or I could skip count each row and do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, or I could just add 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. And then 12 plus 3 is 15. So now when we added one more row to the question that we had in number 3, now we have 15 total x's instead of 12. Good job. All right, now it's time for us to do our last question of the day, and then we'll wrap up our lesson, okay?
All right, boys and girls, now we're on our last problem of the day. It says draw an array of x's with one less column of 5 than the array in problem 4. Write a repeated addition equation to find the total number of x's.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so number 5 says draw an array of x's with one less column. So we're going to take away a column of 5 than the array in problem 4. So we're going to be looking at the same problem in number 4, the array that we created, and we're going to take away a column. Write a repeated addition equation to find the total number of x's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw the array that we have up top, and I'm going to take away a column. So we have 5 rows of 3. So we have 1, 2, 3 for my first row, and then we have 1, 2, 3 for the second row. Then we have 1, 2, 3 for the next row, and then we have 1, 2, 3 for the fourth row, and then we have one more row, 5 rows, 1, 2, 3. So now we have the exact same problem as we do in number 4, except number 5 tells us we need to have one less column. So I'm going to get my black pencil, and I'm going to take away one column. So let's take away this column. Okay, so we're just going to scratch it out, take it away. And now we have two columns with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we have 10 X's with in each column. So we have one column here and then another column here. So let's see. Let's make a repeated addition equation. Let me grab my red pencil. So we're going to create our repeated addition equation. In our first column, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put 5 plus how many in our second column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we have 5 plus 5 equals how much? If we do 5 plus 5, how much does that equal? That's right, it equals 10. So that wraps up our problem for today. We won't be doing an exit ticket and we won't be doing homework. You should have done pages 13 and 14 for today. Thank you for tuning in to Primary Central Classroom's e-learning by Ms. Williamson. Today we cover Module 6, Lesson 7, and tomorrow we'll be doing a science lesson, so get ready to do science. Also continue to like and subscribe and tell your parents to keep a lookout for all of the videos. Today we got introduced into my teacher assistant, Kid Panda.
It was nice to meet you guys.
So I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.